Good morning. Good morning. Hang on a minute. Let me check my microphone's on. It's on. Fret not. How are we? Hello? What?
My friend Catherine asked whether
Hang on a minute. I've just gone live for my show in the morning. This one never gets up before like midday, and then as soon as I press live, just come asking me questions. You'll have to wait until 9 o'clock now.
But my friend asked if I can meet her.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation at 9 o'clock. Well, that was a way to start. That was my eldest Poppy, who, for the whole of the 96 episodes that we've been doing, has never bothered me once. And now she's woke up with something very, very important. It's not very, very important. She wants to go out and do some things today, which she can absolutely do because it is Scotcho outside. It is. Good morning, everybody. Who is first past the post this morning? It is Joanne Smith. Monday sassiness to you all. Good morning, my angel. I've got a new flip chart. Oh, I've had a bit of a weekend, you lot. Let me fill you in. So this weekend, we began in earnest the Rockstar Level Up Masterminds. So we've already done the pre-work that we've needed to do with the incredible Abigail Horn from Authors & Co. on our collaboration book, which is going to be coming out in January. Super exciting. But we started the brand work this weekend and it was so good. So on Friday night, we did a branding quiz, which was wicked, where we got to grips with, why do we think about these brands? What makes it that we think about them? Then on Saturday, we did the real intention setting, goal setting, having a look what we wanted to achieve as a collective for the next 6 months, really committing that to paper and to each other. And it was emotional and there were breakthroughs and it was just brilliant. It was so, so good. And then yesterday, I had the day off. Yes, I did. I promise. I had the full day off. I didn't really do much online. Do you know what? I did some sneaky little sales that I didn't mean to do. They just happened, which I quite enjoy. That's nice, isn't it? Some cheeky Sunday sales. But this is what happens, I think, when you get things that you do that you've done a few times and people have kind of got FOMO for last time. It's the long work. For any of you that are launching for the first time and might be disappointed if you've done it for the first time and it's not kind of gone off as you want it to, you've got to keep at it. You've got to keep pushing the stationary car until it's moving with momentum. And that's where we're at now. And it's dead exciting. So the doors to be heard, so you want to be a speaker, will open at the end of September. But the waitlist opens this week. So I've made a little present for those people that want to get onto the waitlist. I've made you a little video, a little masterclass to see you on for the time being. So I've put together some handy hints for speaking so you can actually get cracking before the gates open, before the doors open. So if anybody wants to get on the waitlist, put waitlist in the comments, which I think are here or here or here or here, wherever the comments are. Put waitlist in the comments and I will make sure I hook you up when we go live later on this week with the waitlist for Be Heard So You Want to Be a Speaker. It was really lovely. I put a post out yesterday just saying that, I was excited. The waitlist was opening. We've actually sold 2 spots on the next Be Inspired cohort, which is just mental. Before that's even kind of gone live, just people have got in my inbox and gone, I really want to do, that 6-month speaking mastermind with you. I want to take a spot. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell you no. Yeah, absolutely. Come and jump on. So really, really, really super exciting. That is kind of going off in the next 8 weeks. I've got to feel it in my waters. I know it's going to be a big one. The movement has been growing. The IATKB movement has been growing at a rate of knots in the past 6 months. So I cannot wait. I'm biting at the bit. Some extra goodies that I'm doing this time. Things I'm doing a bit differently this time. So it's going to be really, really, really exciting over the coming months. What else have I been doing that I want to tell you about? Let's say good morning to some people. Diane Ivory, good morning. Good morning, Annie Cameron, Emma Ross, got to see all the usual suspects coming through. If you are new to the show, please do give us a little shout. Vicky Head, good morning. I did have an amazing weekend. It was both busy and awesome and crazy, and I got a big shop done, which is quite good. So I was useful to the household for a change. It is scorchy. Tell me what the weather's happening. Tell me what's happening with the weather where you are. Scorchy up here. The sun is pouring through the window. There we go. in the east. Let me know what's happening with the weather where you are. Danielle Hobson, good morning. Be happy. Gorgeous here on the east coast of Lincolnshire. I've hooked you up. The east coast have got some sunshine. Yay to a day off. Becky, I needed it. I needed it. It was a really intense week last week. There was a lot. It was a lot. For all that I joke about being Rapunzel, last week I was she. It was relentless from 7 o'clock in the morning to sometimes it was like 10 o'clock at night. And nobody's giving me a badge for that kind of work, by the way. I am not wanting snaps for working that kind of hard. But sometimes there is a little bit of, you've got to dig in and you've got to make some sacrifices. And last week was definitely one of those. Kimberly, good morning. Becky, thoroughly recommend signing up for Be Heard. Becky has been through Be Heard, and we always have an absolutely great time. It's fantastic. Good morning, Zoe. Good morning. It's raining in Amsterdam. Oh, she's back. She's back from Spain. Is Sandra? Let's represent with a little bit of a rainy bee up here. Normally the sunshiny bees. There you go, Sandra. A little bit of a rainy bee. It is scorching out in Sutton Coldfield. Oh my goodness, fantastic. What else is that? It's a bit shit. It's a bit shit in Cheshire. Oh my goodness. Let's get we've got an it's a bit shit bee for you in Cheshire. Hang on, let's have a look. Let's move the north over here. Let's move Birmingham down here. And let's get Cheshire sorted out with an it's a bit shit bee. There we go. Whereabouts in the UK or indeed the world are you watching from? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know what the weather's doing. We shall pop you on our weather map, on our shit weather map. It's not a shit weather map at all, is it? It's absolutely fantastic. Courtesy of our incredible Joanne Smith at Creative Sass. What else is happening where you are in the world? So, in the world of woo, and you all know I'm open to a little bit of woo. I'm looking down here. And the reason why I'm looking down here is because I wanted to pop a little bit of lippy on, which I'm going to do. I'm going to pop a little bit of lip gloss on, and then I can put my makeup to one side and not be distracted. Like this. There we go. So, today, it is, and I didn't know this happened, it is a full moon. It is called the Sturgeon Moon. And it happens about 4:30 today. So normally, when it's a full moon, I have found in the past 6 months, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I've become more intuitive. I don't know what it is. But I've always had trouble sleeping on the night of a full moon. Always. So I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to make the most of it. So last night I did a bit of an intention setting because it's a cool thing to do anyway. It's a cool thing to do at the start of the month. So my friend Deep had given me some sage. So I did a little smudgy smudge to clear my energies. I don't know if this works, by the way, but I am totally open. I am absolutely open to anything helping me out. I come here for it. If I'm manifesting and there's other things out there that I don't understand that might help me along, do you know what? I'm for it. And that's exactly what I did last night. I lit some candles and I got my little sagey set with a little smudgy like this, a little smudgy over here for you lot as well. And I set some intentions. So the intentions are that I will finish writing my big book by the end of this month. And I'm having to make some decisions and sacrifices about that, by the way. So I was meant to be taking a holiday on the week of the 17th of August. And I've cleared my diary. There's nothing in my diary. However, in order for me to complete that book, I'm going to have to take that week. So Wallace and the kids are going to go to visit our family down south. And I'm going to stay here and write. And of course, that means that you guys are going to get to go through that process with me again. If those of you remember when I was writing Closed Mouths Don't Get Fed at the beginning of this year, it was a process. And I shared it in its entirety with you guys from beginning to end. So I will be sitting down to write properly over the next sort of week or so, but I'm going to have a whole week at it. So please be ready with hugs and sustenance and support for that week as I try and write a book in a week, because, I don't fuck about and I don't do things by halves. And there's no way I can fanny about by doing a little bit here and a little bit there. You know what I'm like, you lot. I've got to go all in, balls in, or I'm not doing it at all. And that is exactly what I'm doing with the book. So hopefully, I say hopefully, it is done because I've set my intentions. I told the moon and my sage and my smudging and everything that I'm going to have this done. Yeah, it's going to be done by the end of this month, I hope. And also, we've got some really cool plans for the book cover. I can't wait to show you all of these things. I cannot wait to show you. Dani feel like we need a bikini bee? We do, don't we? I can fully feel that full moon. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. It does work. Setting your intentions absolutely does work. Good morning, Danielle Hansen. Can we just give Danielle Hansen some love, by the way? Danielle absolutely had my back last week. I didn't make any secret of the fact that I had a little bit of a wobble. Not that I would ever stop what I'm doing, and never in a million years would, but sometimes the overwhelm just comes in. And Danielle just absolutely held all of the space for me last week while I was just like, oh, I'm feeling it is all a little bit much. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I've got too much to do. And she's such an incredible partner to have in my business. So if you ever need some help getting all your systems and your processes sorted in your business, you need to hook up with my girl Danielle Hansen from Pretty Practical Business, because honestly, she has saved my brains. Because as a creative, I go a million miles an hour all the time, and sometimes I just need someone to make sure that I'm on course, and she is just incredible for doing it. So do go check her out, Pretty Practical Business Consultancy. Just give us your link in there, Dan. Let's tell everyone about what you do, because it's amazing. Here for it. Yes, you are. Ready to send these hugs. You will do it. Love Danielle. Yeah, I do too. She is fantastic. You've had an epic few months. Becky Wise, yes, I have. It has been phenomenal. And we are no signs of slowing. We are in momentum right now for all things IATQB. The overwhelm was probably the run up to the full moon. You're probably not lying. I told you, I don't know how these things work. I don't know how these things work. But I'm open. I'm going to remain open, because there are things in life that I don't understand, and I will just remain open to them. So, right, enough of this talk of smudgy full moons and all of this sort of stuff. Enough. But I would love to know what your intentions are for this week or this month in the comments. Do share so we can keep each other accountable. Please do share so that we can cheer you on. I've told you what my goals are. I've got some more of these VIP intensives to sell. I've got the mastermind, the speaking mastermind for anybody who wants to get involved with that. I've got the waitlist opening to be heard, so you want to be a speaker. Loads of cool things happening for my intentions. What are yours? Bang them in the comments as I bring on to our show this morning. We've only just met, but already we had a little brew with each other on Friday, and it feels like I've known this lady for ages. She is phenomenal. We're going to be talking about the positive mindset movement this morning with the fabulous, the beautiful hair. Wait till you see her hair. It is fit. Pauline Ng, everybody. Hello.
Hello, you're right.
How are you?
Morning. Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, mate, I'm made up. I'm made up to have you on my show. I'm made up to be starting out Monday with you, getting jiggy ready for the week.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling jiggy ready for the week. So, Pauline, you're not Pauline, you're Sandra. Oh my goodness, I've got a friend with the same surname as you. And I just had a total Freudian slip. Sandra. Right, smack me wrists, everybody. Slap me bum and tell me that I'm naughty. I have said my friend Pauline's name for so many years now, and I brought you on, and then you're like my new friend, and that's all the connections. Sandra, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right now. I've got your name right.
Yeah, is that you smudging things?
That's
like making you all like.
It's mucked up all my hard wiring. What an idiot.
Does
Sandra,
it look like a massive spliff?
It doesn't smell like one, although I imagine if someone walked past my bedroom last night, they'd have probably been questioning what I was doing in my bedroom. But I was just burning sage. I can imagine that it would definitely smell suspect. Do you do anything like that? Are you here for the woo? Are you not here for the woo? Is it stuff that you don't know that you're not bothered about?
No, not really. I've kind of done certain things before, and I've got crystals and I've had that, and then I've done like some alternative medicines and things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I think when I was younger, I was maybe a little bit more, but then it's kind of like I'm not going to completely be totally against it. I'm willing to open my mind, but it's not something that I regularly practice. So yeah, I think it depends on what it is as well. So yeah,
that's it. Because you can go people can go a little bit left field with these things, can't they? Can go all the way. So I think you've got to access these things in certain levels when you're ready for them, or if indeed you are ready for them. And do you know what? I like a little bit of crystals. I carry a little bit of citrine around with me because I like the fact that it's an abundance crystal. And as far as that goes, I leave myself open to the rest, and then let the incredible people that I know in my circle look after the bigger stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I've certainly tried, and like I do have crystals. Like I sleep with some under my pillow because I sometimes have trouble sleeping, and then I've had some like fertility ones that I sometimes wear and carry around with me as well. So it's kind of like, if it works. But then
That's it. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's even if it's a placebo or not. One of my friends, Abigail, from Authors and Co, Abby from Authors and Co, she'll say, if it's snake oil, I don't care if it's snake oil. If it's a placebo, I don't care if it's a placebo. If it means that I can get myself in the right place in my head to do the things that I've got to do, then I'm absolutely open to doing it, and that's how I feel.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like some things that I would try and be like, oh, let's see, but then other things it might be like, nah. That's not for me.
No, it's a little bit too woo. We're all right for that one.
Yeah.
So Sandra, tell us what it is that you do. I'm so excited to talk about the positive mindset movement today.
Yeah, so I'm a positive mindset coach, and what I do is I help people just silence their inner critic, overcome fear, and just bounce back from just crap that happens to you in life. And it's just so people can really start to live life with courage and on their own terms as well. So just helping them be more confident, resilient, and I have a bit of a focus on that sort of well-being, so mental health, and I talk about that quite a lot as well because it's so important, like to me. But yeah, so I do that, and interestingly, I kind of got into this sort of industry by accident. Like my career started off in hospitality, got a degree in it. I am actually a qualified chef, which my boyfriend.
I am finding more and more about you, and I'm like, yes, we are definitely more and more friends. Like she's a chef, she's incredible. So your boyfriend's digging on you being a chef.
Well, he laughs because basically I think I've cooked maybe twice in the last year. So. He's like, where is this? When are you going to start showing me this chef stuff that you can do? Like, well, just you carry on cooking as well. But yeah, so I worked in hospitality, and I randomly got into this by accident because I kind of hated the job that I was in the restaurant I worked in. Went looking for a job, and I got a job that was working in the sort of development, people development, but it was in hospitality. And I realized that I loved it, so I carried on through that. Been doing it for 18 years now. So I've been like a coach, trainer, consultant, working in like similar to your background, people development. Doing all the public, private, corporate stuff.
We had a similar kind of role in the corporate space, didn't we? Like working within that sort of training facility and development facility. And I think one of the nice things about being in that space is that they do the training with you. It's like going to university, but you kind of in the corporate, like someone else is paying for it. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
So did the university because I was like, oh yeah, I loved it, and then got like various qualifications and so on. But then a few years ago, I kind of hit a bit of a snag in my career because I was kind of wanting to be like head of learning and development, but where I live, and there was just a shortage of like permanent roles, so I was constantly going on like fixed term contracts, and then I ended up being unemployed. I was like. It was hard, and I think it might have been around recession time, but I ended up unemployed quite a few times for like long periods of time as well. So that like really impacts your mindset. And then I think the last time I was unemployed for 9 months and ended up having a breakdown during that period because I'd been unemployed for so long. But in a way, it was kind of like a key moment in my life. And I think a lot of people say that, don't they, when these quite traumatic, experiences happen, that it can be a real sort of like wake-up call for a lot of people, or a real moment where stuff changes. And that's what happened to me, because I'd been putting so much pressure on myself to lead my life in a certain way, have the perfect life with the career, so I could, earn enough money to buy a house. And then when I had kids, I'd have maternity leave. So it was kind of like following this path that, it's other people's rules and expectations, basically, how I thought I should be living my life. And that's why I ended up having a breakdown, because I'd put in so much pressure on myself, because I just thought, well, I'm a massive failure. All these other people are doing all this stuff and it's not happening for me. And so that obviously brought on quite a lot of anxiety, panic attacks. I couldn't even leave the house. And it was like it was horrible. Because obviously having worked in the development space, I knew what I had to do, but I just couldn't do it. It was like so difficult.
That's the thing for a lot of people who are self-aware, especially from a mental health point of view. When I had a series of breakdowns at different times, but because I was intelligent and articulate and learned, and I researched and I knew about stuff. When I went to the doctors, it was very difficult for them to treat me because they was like, oh, you already know these things, so why aren't you doing them? I'm like, that is part of the illness, is that when you are not well, just like with your physical health, if you broke your leg, you can't walk around. You know how to walk around, but you can't walk around because your leg hurts. So when you're not well, it is hard to get out of bed in the morning, not because you don't know how, it's because it hurts, it's because everything is painful, it's because you don't know how to cope with things. So no matter how intelligent you are, and I really do find that, especially within the NHS and medical healthcare professionals, they do an incredible job, but it's still very, very lacking in the support that they can give from a health perspective instead of a crisis. Everyone waits till they get to crisis before they access the crisis help. Whereas actually the work that you do in the run-up can help prevent these crises, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it was really tough because obviously trying to get that support was hard. And it was really frustrating because, like I said, I train people on how to change the way they think and on mindset. And it was like, I teach this and I've been doing it for years, but trying to apply it to myself was actually quite hard. But then I think that led to me just really sort of, because I did end up getting another job, thankfully, but it was another fixed term contract. So when it came to the end of that, I was like, oh shit, am I going to end up in this space? I was really scared, actually. I didn't want to be unemployed again, to go through that again. But I think because I really learned from that, I was like, right, so what's next? And I reevaluated everything. And what I realized is that your mental health is more important than anything. Like anything. It's more important than having a job. It's more important than, having a house and a car. Like, your mental health is the most important thing, and it's what you should focus on. So I was able to then think about, well, what is really important to me and what matters? And so I ended up taking the chance. I took the risk and I started my own business after that. And it was 3.5 years ago. And it's something I never ever thought I would do, because I used to have a very fixed mindset around it. I thought to be an entrepreneur, I can't even say the word, to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, that's easier. That, you had to obviously work really hard and stuff. But I thought, oh, I'm not committed enough. I'm too lazy. I'm not good enough, all this. But I also thought you had to be a bit of a knob, if I'm honest with you. Because you look at stuff like, Alan Sugar, Dragon's Den, and you think, oh, I'm not that person. I don't want to run my own business. But I think there was a lot of, I didn't feel good enough, to run my own business. And
if you look at the Grant Cardones out there, isn't it? If you look at the Grant Cardones, which are you've got to do everything 10 times, you've got to email everybody 4 times a day, you've got to do all this, you've got to go. It's aggressive. It doesn't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be a knobhead and run your own business. And I think the anxiety, when you're in employment, you're in somebody else's hands. Even though, when you come out of employment, it's in your hands to go and look for a job or go and find a job, but you're at the behest of whether there are jobs out there. Whereas with owning a business, it's a different kind of anxiety, but it's more of a fuel, I find, as opposed to a fear. Do you find that when you decided to move from employment into your own employment, and you started employing yourself, did that anxiety shift in the way that it showed up for you?
Yeah, because I was because of what had happened to me previously, obviously with all the anxiety and panic attacks, I was like, oh, is it a good idea for me to be putting myself in this really stressful situation? I've got no idea how to run a business. I've never done it before. It's going to be hard. I don't know when I'm going to get any money. It could be a year. It could be a very long time before I get any success from this. And so I was a little bit like, shit, what am I doing? But then I was but there is this thing, and I talk to people a lot, it's like positive stress. So you can have anxiety, but it's kind of before that point where it tips you into panic mode. Like, how can you use that stress to kind of fuel you, and that anxiety to almost drive you? So it did change, and it was looking at that stress in a positive way. But it was always like, well, what have I got to lose? I can just give it a try, and if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to getting a job. And then I was exploring lots of different options. So I really had opened my mind. But the thing is, luckily, within 6 months, I was like starting to earn money. And then in my first year, I actually did really, really well. And it's opened up so many opportunities that I never would ever have imagined that, like, talking on this show with you, you know, if you'd said to me a few years ago, I'd be doing stuff like this. Like, I've been on podcasts, I've featured on, you know, guest speaking stuff. I've written articles for things. I judge awards. And it's like, I would never ever imagined. It's like, who am I to be doing that? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, here I am doing it.
It's
So,
crazy. It's a whole different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you do work for employers, particularly large employers, you're kind of in the bubble of that employer. I remember working. Within the HR facility and the training facility, and us trying to justify why we would go and network with other contact centres to go and share best practice or to go and find out what they were doing. And it just didn't make sense to network for us because we had to toe the party line. It didn't make sense for us in that space. But now I couldn't live without networking. You know, meeting other people that even do the same thing as me, meeting other people. Like, for me, the networking was really the best thing to come out of not being in that corporate spot, to meet people like you, to meet people like my mentors. I get to choose who teaches me things now, as opposed to it being kind of thrust upon me. I get to be complicit in my development as opposed to kind of just going along with it. I get to choose who I work with even better, because sometimes, you know, you don't get to choose your work family, and some of them are knobheads. You know, having that autonomy is just brilliant. What do you enjoy most? What do you enjoy most now about working within your own business?
Yeah, I definitely think that's changed, because I do love, like, I loved, like, in the corporate space, I love doing all the strategic stuff, you know, helping people develop like whole like programs and frameworks, and looking at, because what I did, obviously helping people change the way they think, change the way they do things, and that was like people and the organization as a whole. So it could be some of that strategic work, which I loved, because I'm a very big picture you know, that sort of thinker. But what I realized is, over time, having run my own business, and that's why I'm now focusing a lot more on the positive mindset coaching, it's because I've realized that I've got a real passion for that. And it's about, and I think that's come from my own experiences. And I think it's kind of, until you start reflecting on it, like, I realized that I've kind of always done it. But then when I've then thought about what I'm doing and why, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, I really love just helping people create positive change in their lives. And like I said, that's because I've had my own challenges, and I see people in this situation where, let's just say, years ago, I was one of these people where I just felt like my life was just constant shit happening. It was bad luck, one thing after another. And I'd had so many things happen to me. So, like, all throughout my childhood and teenage years, being bullied for being Chinese, which, you know, causes a lot of stuff to go on. And then I was in a violent, abusive relationship for 6 years. Then there was like severe debt. I ended up, you know, being, you know, not having anywhere to live for a few weeks. And then certain things, like, your life might get a bit better, but then there was more relationships that I got into that weren't great. And then, like, lost my dad to cancer and stuff like that. So you just always feel like, when is my life going to be good? When am I going to have luck? All these other people around me are having all of the success. I'm a huge failure. Then I was unemployed, you know. So it was just constant feeling of just like feeling really lost and stuck, and that things were never ever going to work for me.
It's hard to roll with punches when they come fast and furiously. It's very hard. Like, if you don't have the tools to deal with that, or you don't even know what your place is within that either, because like, in a similar, our stories are strangely similar in some spaces. But when life is happening to you, I say inverted commas, you're still complicit in some of the things that are happening now. And that's not to say that, you know, like your dad or that someone else's behavior, like within a relationship that's abusive, is your fault. That's not what I'm saying. But when there was a degree of responsibility taken that I realized that I needed at a certain point, where it was on my reactions needed to dictate my outcomes anymore, because obviously my reactions weren't having a good effect, because I'm constantly being smacked in the face. I'm thinking, why?
And that's the thing, right? Because I think in that time, because I did have quite a fixed mindset, it's like you find it hard. And then, I mean, my friends and like my family, they would, like, sometimes it was a bit of a joke as well, because alongside that, I would have like just random stuff happen to me, like that were actually sometimes a little bit funny as well. But people would be like, this stuff always happens to you. If this happened to anybody, it would be you. Do you know what I mean? Your
Sandra,
life.
yeah.
And then I think I then really just started to believe that my life was just always going to be like this massive shitstorm.
A shit show.
So you kind of then just get into that thing where you're like, well, what's the point in me even trying to like have it, like make something of myself? What's the point in me even trying to like aim for all of this stuff? Because it's just never going to happen. And then it's that belief. And I think it's that mindset where I can see now from changing that, how I have now like created my own luck. I've created this whole new life for myself. I mean, not completely, but I've changed a lot of things because of how I have started to respond and change the way I think. And it's like, it's so interesting because I have definitely carried these labels and stories from all of these situations in terms of who I am as a person, my identity, what I thought I should be, and just probably some of those experiences where I never accepted myself as a person and just never ever felt like I was good enough and so on.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, with the whole running my own business, I'm never ever going to be able to do that. So when you don't believe it enough, you'll never push yourself past. You just create this invisible boundary.
Yes.
Of all of these things, and it's restricting you because you're like, well, I need to live my life in a certain way, or I'm this label, I'm this person, this is me. And you attach yourself to all of these other things that you're just really not being yourself. You're just trying to be someone you're not. You're just spending all your time trying to be accepted and compare yourself, or you're like people pleasing. And then you have all these labels, and they really, because you don't believe it, you never push yourself past that point to start doing things you want to do because you don't believe you can have it.
Absolutely.
And so sorry.
How did you? No, don't be sorry. It's so interesting, and it's a theme that we come across again and again and again, that especially within this sort of like timeline for somebody, and in these interviews we often see patterns, but I just think it's fascinating how people come to different outcomes, and you're another amazing example of how survivors serve, how people that have come through a situation or a number of situations, certainly in your case, where you actually look back and go, actually, there are ways through this. I know there are ways through this. I've taught myself and I've gone to go and learn about ways through this. And I want to leave clues for the people that might be needing this. And this success leaving clues is a huge thing that you do within the positive mindset movement. Now, so talk to us more about the movement. Talk to us more about what it means with this positive mindset, because it isn't what everyone thinks it means.
No, and I think that's the thing. So, I mean, the reason why I'm so passionate, I'm not sure if I answered the question. Like, if I can actually help one person just make a change similar to I have, because I can see the impact it's had on my life, and I am so much happier now than what I was before because I've let go of a lot of stuff. I've created boundaries, and like I said, I've really changed. And it's like, if I can just help one person do that to start to feel like they are good enough. But a lot of it for me is about normalizing a lot of stuff, right? Because like you say, out there, people are forcing themselves to be positive all the time. They feel like being negative, complaining, and yes, there is like a balance with complaining and being negative, but having negative feelings, being sad, angry, frustrated, having mental illness and mental disorders, they feel like it's a bad thing, and they're constantly feeling like they have to fix themselves. And I'm just trying to normalize it and say, you're not alone. And if anything, it's so normal to experience this. You know, nobody's life is perfect. And a lot of people, I know I'm not the only one, you know, obviously similar stories. I know so many people where we've all got similar stories, where we've dealt with a lot of shit. And like with COVID as well, there's so many people I've been talking to, and they're really, really struggling. And all they say to me, like without fail, every time is, oh yeah, but I'm staying positive, I'm being positive. And it's like, do you know what? If you don't want to be positive,
allow yourself.
And that's the thing. I'm trying to just normalize all these feelings. And this isn't saying that, oh yeah, just everyone let's walk around being really miserable all the time. You know, it's not about that.
Not the positive mindset movement.
That's not what the positive mind movement's about. But it's just in that group, it's just to make people realize that you can't force positivity, and it's not realistic to be happy all the time, to be positive all the time. And it's okay to have these like, it's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to be feeling like you know, things are going wrong. But then obviously it's maybe getting to a point where you would then think about, okay, right, so how do I change this? How can I try and move on from this? And it's not easy at all. I am not saying it's like an overnight thing where you change it. You have to work at it, and it can be hard, and it digs up a lot of stuff. But for me, it's around creating this whole, just this movement where people just feel like they, no matter what happens to them in life, no matter what shit is thrown at them, that they can cope with it and that they will get through. But they also have this, they do have it within themselves. They do have these strengths and these, like, all of these unique qualities that people often don't see, because we're so used to seeing all the negative stuff, right? We don't look at the positives, but you can get through it. And that even though everything seems like really, really crap, that you can change your life and you can change your mindset, and you can start to work towards the things that you want, and you can really just start to, like I said, live life with courage and on your own terms. And like, that is basically what it is. It's how can you stop trying to live your life based on what everybody else thinks, and all of, like I said, these rules and expectations, and just how you can just start to go after, stop holding yourself back, and start going after the things you want.
It's kind of like when people decide that they want to go on a health kick, they'll start drinking loads of water, and they'll start going to the gym, and they'll start moving more and eating, you know, better foods, and they are working out. They are choosing, you know, better for themselves. Surrounding yourself with this kind of learning, and this is like taking your emotions to the gym. It's like taking your mindset to the gym, and it's work that you've got to do consistently. You can't just pick up a book and read a book, or watch a TED talk, or, you know, see a positive meme on Instagram and share it. It's something, it's a practice, just as your physical health is a practice, right?
And I think that's the thing. There's like so much, and I think as well it can make it hard, because people then they make progress, and I've seen a lot of people say this, like, oh, I've taken a huge step back because I was being positive, I'd got over my anxiety, and something else has happened. And it's like, just trying to normalize it, that's going to happen, you know, but how, and you can deal with it and keep coping. But I think people, like they said, because there's all this stuff that goes on out there, they automatically feel like they're bad people and that they're doing something wrong, and they start to feel guilt and shame. And I'm very much against like the toxic positivity stuff.
Like, let's be happy all the time, let's be high vibe all the time, because it's transient. You can't maintain it. No emotion that we have as human beings is even designed biologically to be maintained in one way or another. It's like comfort. We're not designed to be comfortable all the time. We're designed for periods of comfort and then periods of growth, and we're designed for periods of pleasure and periods of pain, so that we are in this constant position of growth. That's our biology. That's even without getting to the woo and the psychology of it all. Like, we are not designed to maintain for extended periods of time positivity, because how would we want to go out and hunt if we weren't uncomfortable? How would we make our families safe if we weren't uncomfortable? And if we always strip back to the fact that we are animals, we are mammalian beings, then it makes it easy to accept that, you know, you can't. If you look at a cat, right? If you look at a cat living in its little cat world, and it'll sleep, it'll get up, and it'll want to be petted, but then it'll come across another cat and it'll want to protect its territory. So it might get into a bit of a scuffle, or it might get a bit annoyed, or there might be an external influence on that cat. Like, you might stroke it too much and it might get annoyed with you and swat you away. That's it, using its annoyance to keep it safe. And that's okay, because that's helping that cat maintain its boundaries. And it's the same for us. We don't have to be, you know, comfortable and content and everything all the time. We've got to respond and react to stuff around us to keep us moving.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, because like my business page, it's all about, it's like called the science of positive thinking, because what I say is like, it's not just about thinking positive thoughts or, you know, just reading yourself affirmations every day, because that's not going to work unless you go deeper into that level and really start to understand the science and how the brain works and just taking real practical actions as well. And that's why it can be quite toxic. And there are obviously, you know, some, you know, other like certain like books that people might read or other coaches out there that have got certain, and it can make actually people feel a whole lot worse because you're in constant conflict with trying to be this really happy, positive person that's trying to improve their life and like do all this stuff. But then because you're not believing it, or because you're not understanding how your brain and body is all like working and so on, then there's just this gap and you're just constantly in the space of feeling like shit, basically.
Yeah. And
you know what I say to people? It's like, you know what that's saying? It's like, oh, you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter.
Roll
Right?
it in glitter.
Yeah, and that's what people do. They roll themselves in glitter and they think, oh, I'm all shiny in glitter. I'm fine. I just need to keep pushing through. But actually, it's like underneath that, you're still shit. Like, it's still a load of shit. And you have to, like, kind of, I think you were saying the other day, you have to dive into it, don't you?
Yeah,
and you have to, like, yeah. And you have to, this is good Monday.
I'm here for
Just
it.
telling people to go and like roll themselves in shit. No, that's not kidding. But yeah, so yeah, you have to like, you have to really just, yeah, you have to totally uncover that stuff, and you have to really think about all that negative stuff because it's part of you, and it makes you whole, and it's about being vulnerable and recognizing that you've got all of these different elements. It's not so black and white. It's not either or. It's not you're happy or sad, or do you know what I mean? There's like all of this grey stuff in between that you can explore. And how can you just figure out what that is? And everybody's different. And we do all this thing where we compare ourselves to other people all the time, and we don't allow ourselves to feel sadness or feel pain, because it's like, oh, well, they're having a worse time than me. So if I complain about my situation, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
And again, that's not how it works. So how can you just try and focus on that? But yeah, just realizing as well that something else will probably happen to you at some point in your life, and how can you just develop the mindset and the skills and the tools to kind of deal with that. Because like for me, obviously last year, like I was chatting to you, we went through IVF twice last year in the space of 5 months, and that's opened up a whole load of stuff for me in terms of like my identity. Who am I? What if I never have a child of my own? And that is something like, what is my life going to look like? And I remember that, like, because I've just turned 40 as well. I say just, that's nearly a year ago. But I'm holding on to it. But
we already decided this morning, didn't we, that this year hasn't happened, so it's fine. You've got another year.
Because it's only 2020. I'm going to be 40 again this year. But yeah, so, and I remember it's that thing where, because you're based, like all of these people that I guess have these judgments and ways of living and doing things. So it's like, I'm 40, I don't have kids, I'm not married, I've been with my partner for 9 years, we don't own our own house, we've only just recently bought a car, you know, and it's all of this stuff where, like, had it been a few years ago, it would have really, really affected me. So I'm kind of quite proud actually of how I've managed to deal with the situation, but it's because I've developed these tools and how I've changed everything and how I've really developed skills and tools and how to cope with it. But also, I also remember thinking, just for that slight minute on my birthday, I was like, oh, I've not achieved the stuff that I wanted to achieve. And I was a bit sad. But also it was because it had been a month since only a few weeks since we'd found out that the second cycle hadn't worked. So obviously there was a bit of sadness, but then at the same time it was like, you know, fuck it, that's other people's expectations. I have achieved so much in my life. I've got like 2 degrees, you know, I've like done stuff like the judging. I run a successful business. I've had lots of great success in my career. And it's just trying to remind yourself that, you know, just because I don't own a house, that is not my identity. That is not who I am. I am not tied to identity of owning a house or being married and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just trying to figure all that out. And yeah, people attach themselves to lots of different things that they think they should be. And it's not often what they want. What
they really want. Yeah, this school, college, university, marriage, kids, career, death. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. Yeah. The whole thing. You get to choose how you deal with that, in what order, if indeed you want any of it, you know. So when people come to you, like particularly now, so we're heading on, hopefully, to some degree of like facing towards some sort of normality again. When people come to you and work with you now, or they come and they approach, the positive mindset movement, they gravitate towards you to work with you. What are the common fears that are sort of coming through for you and your client, not for you, but for your clients, and for the people within your movement right now? What's the most common sort of feeling that's in your space?
Yeah, so there are very key things, and it's stuff like people pleasing, comparing themselves to other people, like being a bit too much of a perfectionist, and then just sometimes just feeling really stuck, like I'm not where I want to be in life, but I don't know where I'm going or how to get there. And there's like imposter syndrome where people are playing small. And then sometimes it could be that a lot of it is to do with confidence. And then especially with coronavirus, it's been that anxiety and uncertainty, and that's what I help people with as well. And it's just really good because I think sometimes the results you can get from just when you start to set boundaries, when you start to think about what is important to you, what makes you flourish, what brings you joy, what is like all of your values and passions, and then you kind of analyze how much you're living that.
Right.
And if you're not, why you're not, and so on. And yeah, I've worked with my clients with this, and honestly, like some of the things, and obviously I can't take credit for it, right? Because they're the ones that do the work. I just give them some tools and some stuff to do. But like I've had and one that's quite common actually, and I've helped people do this, is where they are working in a job where they absolutely hate it. They are miserable. They're like, I don't know what to do with my life or my career. Where am I going? What do I do? So then I help them work through, like I say, what is important to them. And I've had people that have completely changed career into something that it was just something that they loved, but they never ever thought they could do it because they had no experience in it. They'd never been there. So they automatically thought they were going to fail. But they made that career change. They're now doing something that they love. They've been doing it for years, and they're actually just been growing, getting promoted, being really successful, and they are like loving it. And it's also opened up loads more opportunities in that space for them. And then someone else who, like, they were the sort of person, when people give too much and they're always just like trying to do everything for everyone else, they're burning out, they're overwhelmed, they're really just like feel like they're being pulled in a million directions and never quite focusing on but it's like they never focus on their own needs, and that's quite common. And then this person, so they'd basically been wanting a pay rise for like 3 years, knew they deserved it, but was kind of worrying about what other people thought and so on. So we worked on like the boundaries and how to stop that, and then they basically asked for the pay rise and they got it, and it was like, well, that's amazing, because and their boss knew fine well that they should have given them this pay rise years ago,
right?
And
but then we're scared of doing things like that, specifically
it's fear.
Particularly within that sort of employment space. And it's the same. There was this really strange concept I came across ages ago about bartering in shops. So when you like bartering, like in marketplaces and things like that, car boots and what have you, is like commonplace, has been for hundreds of years. But actually going into somewhere like, I don't know, John Lewis, I'm not saying like going in like with the top and saying, oh, I'll give you a tenner for it. But if you've picked it up and you can see there's something maybe not quite right with it, actually saying there's something not quite right with this, but I still want it, I can fix it. Or, like doing those, like asking those cheeky questions, but they're not cheeky, they're right. And that asking for a pay rise thing is a huge one, because people just accept that whatever HR have awarded them that's what they're stuck with. But if you have showed up and you've bust your nuts and you've done everything that you do, that if you were employed yourself you would have paid dividends, then there is nothing to stop you by saying, look, here's the evidence to prove that I am bringing in this revenue. You've got the revenue to give me. I know, because I brought it in for you. I know.
Exactly.
Like there is nothing to say that you can't go and ask that question. I mean, worst that can happen is they'll say no. But if you've done the job that you've said you've done, that, if the worst is no and the best is yes, go for a yes for a laugh.
Yeah, and it's what have you got to lose, right? Like, ask the question. You've got nothing to lose at all. So, and I think this is the thing, it's like people's mindset, like fear. I think that is actually one of the things that comes up. Fear kind of controls so much in our life. So it's fear of what other people think about us, fear of being judged, fear of failing, fear of getting it wrong. And like, I've had people that, they keep themselves in relationships that have broken down And, you know, and it's not like I encourage them to leave or anything, because that's not my decision to make, but they're so scared about what other people think about them. They're so scared about, you know, other people, like, or upsetting other people. And I have people that do all this stuff for their family that they don't want to do. And then it's like, well, why are you doing it? Or they're in these jobs and they're like, well, I'm scared to make a move because I don't know what a new job is going to be like. And it's like, yeah, but you'll never know if you don't take the chance. And I do help people like sort of figure out how to thrive and flourish in their careers. I deliver training sessions on it sometimes, and I do laugh because I go into the room and it's like a company's employed me to do the session, and I'll be like, yeah, so I'm going to help you work out what you want in life, and then I joke with them and say, yeah, at the end of the session, yeah, you're all going to go hand in your notice. You know, and some of them, it's like, yeah, it's like, they're not going to have me back because y'all keep leaving after every time I come in and do a session. But yeah, but sometimes that's the thing. There's so many people that are just stuck and they feel like they have to be there because they've tied themselves to all of this stuff that they think is what they should be doing,
right?
But it's not deep down. Absolutely. So yeah, I definitely help them overcome that fear and think, how can you just step out that comfort zone and take risk and stop, just reframe all this negativity bias that you have about everything, and just, yeah, boundaries is really important.
Yeah, huge. And fear is the big one for everybody, for everything. You know, everything that stops you doing the things that you want to do is, you know, behind the eyes and between the ears, isn't it? So what's coming up for you? What's coming up next for you? What are you excited about? Tell me.
I think at the minute I am excited because I'm in the middle of obviously just launching a few things. So I do have a mini masterclass coming up, which I'll pop the link in a second. But it's about fear, and it's called Fearful to Fearless. It's say fuck you to fear, stop self-doubt, step out your comfort zone and be brave. So I'm helping people think about how to just stop that worrying too much, overthinking, catastrophizing, but how you can really just stop fear from controlling your life and stopping you do the things that you want to do and going after the things that you want to do. And so I'll be talking them through quite a lot of tools. And it's a 2-hour live mini masterclass with me. And you'll save over 50% if you sign up soon. It's only £33 as well.
Is that it?
33.
Right, you lot, come on now.
So yeah, it's only £33. And I'm trying to make it accessible for a lot of people, because especially with like coronavirus as well. And I think this is something that comes up quite a lot. So it's 2 hours live with me, but obviously you can get the replay if you can't catch up on it. So I'll pop the link into that in a second. And yeah, I'm just sort of growing my group, and then in September I'm going to be launching a bigger course, which is like 6 weeks. So that's coming up for me. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I'm just really excited about just where like the business kind of goes, because I think you spend so much worry, like as a business owner, you sometimes worry, right, what's happening and what's going on. But I think in the past, few months, stuff's really, like, I've had loads of opportunities like this where I've been like being asked to speak at things, and people have been approaching me, and like even still, I do get that little bit of like,
oh, really?
Asking me? What are you asking me for? You know, and you're just like, yeah. But yeah, so that's good, because it obviously shows. I mean, obviously my mission is to help as many people as possible, right? And yeah, so that's what I've got coming up. And then, people can join my group, which is the Positive Mind Movement. And then, you can follow me on Instagram, Sandra, the Positive Mindset Coach on Instagram. But yeah.
I love it. It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, and I think as well, because of the fertility stuff, I am starting to have more conversations and helping people through that journey as well, because it does require a lot of, like, you know, in terms of mindset. Like I say, I think like I was quite proud of how I dealt with it, but I think it's because I was able to really just have those tools in place that would help me, because it's such a tough time.
Gosh, I can't imagine. And also for people going through fertility, through the fertility process or the fertility assistance process, or, you know, if they're struggling with it, as with a lot of things, you almost kind of get left to your own devices to deal with it. And lots of people fall through the cracks. And it is a Pandora's box the more you go through the process. So to, be having more conversations about that is just so important. Number of people, even close to me, members of the IATQB community, are going through this right now as we speak. So many people. So to know that there are people like you out there that can, help them with the tools that they need so that they don't feel like that. They don't have to feel on their own. In all the things, I don't know if you can hear one just started snoring like a walrus behind me. But it's just so important. So thank you for that. Thank you for all of the work that you do, Sandra. It is just absolutely phenomenal. It's been a pleasure having you on the show this morning. Please make sure that you pop the links in the comments.
Yeah, I'll pop them in the. Well, I can do that now actually. And then can you? Yeah, I'll do that. And then it's easier to pop them up there as well. Not on the roof, not up in the sky. Do you know what I mean?
Roof, in the comments. So then when people see each one, they know that in the comments they've got somebody from the person from the live is in the comments with the links. That's where everyone finds it. So Sandra,
I'll put it on. I'll figure it out.
Doing it now.
I'll do it after.
We have run out of time, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's just been fabulous speaking to you. Thank you for the important work that you do. If people do want to get involved, or do want to find out more about Sandra's work, or indeed go and book onto that workshop. The thing is, with lots of things, certainly in the online space, things tend to be quite expensive. And with the workshop being the price that it is, it's such an accessible way for you to get hold of this information. In fact, if anybody is struggling, I will sponsor a spot on the workshop. So if you are in the IATQB Hive, if you make yourself known to me and you would like to go on the workshop, please make yourself known to me in my DMs. I will pop your names in a hat. If there is more than one of you, but I want to sponsor a spot so that, one of you guys, if you are struggling to get to this kind of learning, because there are so many things out there that are so much more expensive, this is a beautiful way to be able to start to access this way of thinking. If you've just starting out on your personal development journey, or if you are feeling fearful about where it is that you're going, get in touch and I will sponsor a spot on Fearful to Fearless. Please let me know. If just slide into my DMs. If I get more than one person come forward in the next 24 hours, then I will pop you in a hat. And Sandra, I will have a conversation with you about how we make that happen.
Oh yeah, brilliant. No, that's brilliant. Thanks, Dani. Appreciate that. But yeah, definitely. And like I say, that's why I was trying to make it accessible for everyone right now, because I know like with the pandemic, there's a lot of uncertainty and stuff. So I'll be helping people work through some of that as well. But yeah, no, thanks for having me. Thanks for that. It's been lovely chatting to you. We could literally sit and chat all day, couldn't we?
I know. We just sit and have a brew, or after the yard arm, have a little gin together. But thank you so much, Sandra, for joining us this morning.
You.
Positive Mindset Coach. Thank you so much. My goodness, what another fabulous show this morning. It's all going off this week, finishing on Friday with our 100th show. I've got some surprises and some celebrations in store for you this coming Friday. Let me share with you who is coming up this week. We've got a banging week this week on the show at Rise Up Show. Tomorrow we've got the beautiful, the gorgeous Manisha Shah is going to be talking to us about all things beauty. Tomorrow we've got the modern man, the thoroughly modern man, Fidel Bohill is going to be joining us, a friend of the show and one of our sponsors from the Big Festoon. He's going to be joining us on Wednesday. We've got the glorious Emma Louise Dyson on Thursday, and on Friday, our 100th show, we've got Charlotte Carter is going to be joining us. We've also got some surprises and lots of fabulous things happening on Friday. If you want to have a look at getting yourself a space sponsored for the Positive Mindset Movement for Sandra's mini masterclass Fearful to Fearless, please would you let me know, get into my inbox. If you want to go on to the waitlist for Be Heard, so you want to be a speaker, if you want more information on it, or you already know you've just been waiting for the waitlist to open, put waitlist into the comments and I will make sure we get you the information that you need. In the meantime, make sure you follow me across the socials, the Queen Bee Dani. Hop over to Instagram right now and go and give us a cheeky little follow. The next target on Insta is 3,000 followers. So go and give us a little cheeky lift over on Instagram. We're heading for the swipe up. I want 10k followers so we can get the swipe up happening on Insta. And if you are not already, we carry on the conversation over on the IATQB Hive, which is my free community space. In the meantime, have an incredible Monday. Please do set some intentions for this week. Enjoy the energy of the full moon if that is your thing. And I will catch you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. See you later.